So this is the last segment on our intro to energy. We've been talking about looking at energy from a very different point of view, kind of like ancient mystics did, involving training our mind, becoming still, and looking at some of the broad principles of energy, some of its components. We discussed waves. In my series, I'm going to probably end up putting it on a DVD first because I'm writing a book about energy and it's quite detailed and it has a lot of diagrams. And I have it in front of me here. I have part of it. There's a lot of aspects about energy that we can just run over really quickly here. You get into numbering systems, you get into how fluids move, you get into how there's various types of waves, there's attack, sustain, decay, there's the creation, operation, destruction, there's energy formats that can hold things together and produce a sustain, a type of field that may last for a very long time. There's also very transient amount of ways that energy expresses itself in micro milliseconds and so on. So it's a very, very vast subject. And ancient yogis, rishis, had symbols that they used as well. There's a lot of symbols that are associated with description of how waves behave. For example, a very simple one would be, well, a sphere, a circle. That's a very important symbol. A point, a triangle, the various geometries and solids and crystals and those types of shapes are all very important. A simple scribbly wave, little triangular wave, that can indicate something, you see. So what I encourage people to do is to explore some of the more material that I have, because I'm going to end up producing something rather large at some point. But I think technically it's actually easier, in many ways better, just producing short segments. The problem is that certain subjects, well, most of the subjects, it's really hard to discuss in just 10 minutes. You can really start getting into it, but you really kind of need maybe an hour or two, plus a lot of visual materials such as diagrams and photos and that sort of thing. But again, getting back to the starting point of being still, of trying to feel something from a very beginning. If you just look at one wave, if you just think of every little part of that, every part of the change, because you see, energy, as we've discussed, moves. There's a transfer. So, that being the case, everything basically decays. I mean, this is what even great sages have said. I mean, all compounds are perishable. That's attributed to Buddha. I mean, if you can see the end from the beginning, you realize, look, this is all going to end, no matter what it is. It may be stainless steel, it may be a sun, it may be whatever. Eventually, it dissipates into some formless state. But it's there somehow. There's some record of it. The universe almost has a, it's like, if you look at the entire universe, might as well, and like a plane of a lake, a very calm lake. Well, it's not really calm, but try to imagine it as being just for a moment. And then you keep throwing a bunch of stones in it, throw a bunch of things in it, and things happen. Next thing you know, you have like an incredible assembly of various waves, producing all kinds of shapes and forms and almost infinite. So you have the universe in its imaginary, completely calm state, in which all potentiality is there, but maybe collapses into some infinite sphere, like a seed. And then the vibration continues in there into that seed, that infinite seed of the universe, and then it starts to radiate out, just like that pond. So the pond contains all the vibrations. All the waves in the pond are basically the sum total of all the things that are going on there. And the waves that we can't see. So we need to train our minds and not look at forms and look for things that don't change, solids, but look at the things that do change, and actually everything changes. You look at the changes on a moment by moment basis, and they have machines now. I mean, some of these devices can sense incredibly small portions of a second electronically. They can get a pulse that just lasts for this incredibly small amount of time, and they can capture it and they can show it as a waveform. Pretty amazing. So, man has had this interest in time. Again, that's a whole other aspect, because once you have the cycles in energy, then you have time. You have some kind of a space there. Something opens up. So you have the whole timing and precision where, we know our computers work because of precise timing of circuits. So it's very, very incredibly sophisticated, but it just divides off a flow of electricity into just like billions of a second, or trillions of a second. And that's pretty damn amazing. And if it wasn't precisely timed, then it just wouldn't work. So I invite people to explore. I realize people don't want to buy anything. I mean, I'm going to try to sell for a lot of work, but on the other hand, I'm going to produce a lot of stuff that's very easy to get a flavor for, because it takes a lot of work to assemble all this information, and at least a modest amount of something. But it's I'm going to produce a lot of video just because it's so easy, and ideas come to me. Man, technology is changing constantly. I look on YouTube, and there's all these amazing inventors out there. So I suspect that we're going to have some amazing inventions. I'm sure either if there's a conspiracy to hide them, of course, but they're out there, and there's a lot of really smart people out there. What I'm trying to produce is my small contribution to a lot of information out there, because energy is obviously the basis of everything that we do. So it's certainly fascinating to study, and never ceases to stop entertaining me. So welcome, and I'll let you know if you want to join our mailing list. Contact us, and we'll post you when there's new information available.